Hello and good afternoon. I'm Dr. Sohail Qureshi, and I'm bringing my program Sharp Edge, and the focus of the day today is humanity at Crossfire in Palestine in this Israel-Palestinian conflict and the destruction of Gaza, as we hear on our daily news of what is happening, a total carnage that sparked after the attack by Hamas, which for many is a terrorist attack, which killed over 1,000 civilians in Israel, both men, women, and children, and a hostage of about 200 people. Israel's response was swift, devastating, and a large number of people around the world call it disproportionate, and some even say genocide. Whatever we call it on this side of the divide, one way or another, the human beings are being killed. The innocent civilians are being killed for a political issue that could have been or should have been solved long time ago. Palestine, a promised land, has deep roots in the Bible, in the Old Testament, as a promised land, Canaan, which was directed by God to Abraham, and he brought his tribe from Iraq, actually, interestingly, a place called Ur, to move to Canaan. However, for last 100 or so years, this area has become a center of attraction for the world news after the disintegration of Ottoman Empire, and this area came under the British protectorate for about 25-30 years, culminating into a creation of a state called Israel in 1948 by the League of Nations, which is the precursor of the United Nations of that time. The hostilities between the newly arrived Jews and the local Arabs, they started about 100 years ago, and then it carried on more so after the Second World War, after the Holocaust event, where about 6 million Jews were terminated by Germany, the Nazi Party in Germany, Poland, and the areas under control of Germany at the time. Unfortunately, the peace never returned to this area, and there have been at least 3 major wars between Israel and the Arab states neighboring Israel. We have seen casualties of unfathom number, but the situation currently which we see has seen a catastrophe that nobody has ever seen. On this particular time, very somber days, because so many lives, both on Israel and Palestine, have gone wasted, with women and children especially, we have started this series of analytic program, taking opinions and views from different people across the globe. And today we have a few guests. Some of them will be joining from Pakistan. And our first guest is Mr. Haroon Rasheed. Mr. Haroon Rasheed, are you able to hear my voice?
Ji.
Okay, thank you. It's a tremendous honor and privilege to have you on our program. Unfortunately, not on a very good topic today. The land of prophets, the promised land, is ablaze, and unfortunately, tears, sweat, blood, and destruction is everywhere. I know you have a keen eye on the situation in Palestine. Could you please tell us, from your point of view, what is going on in Pakistan and about the issues in Palestine, or you may want to give a commentary on the plight of Palestinians and lack of peace in that area?
देखिए, गुजारिश ये है कि पाकिस्तान तो अपने अंदर उलझा हुआ है, सवाए जमात इस्लामी के, जिसने एक बहुत बड़ी रैली निकाली कराची में। बाकी किसी ने कोई कोशिश नहीं की। पीटीआई के कुछ लोगों ने कोशिश की, लेकिन वो जाहिर है कि उन्हें इजाजत नहीं है کوئی اجتماع کرنے کی، کوئی احتجاج کرنے کی، خاص طور پہ اس وقت جب جانے پہچانے کارکن ہوں اور بیچ میں لوگ نعرے بھی لگا دیتے ہیں، ان کی پراپر ٹریننگ تو نہیں ہے، تو اپنی پارٹی کے حق میں بھی، لیڈر کے حق میں بھی نعرے لگا دیتے ہیں. تو پیپلز پارٹی کو اور نون لیگ کو تو اس سے کوئی دلچسپی نہیں ہے. انہوں نے کوئی مظاہرہ کرنے کی کوشش نہیں کی، کوئی پھیکے سے بیانات دیے ہیں رسمی سے. بالکل وزارت خارجہ کا بھی یہی صورتحال ہے. ایسا محسوس ہوتا ہے کہ اپنے اندر سمٹ گئے ہیں بالکل، جو خوف کی حالت میں غلام معاشروں کی نفسیات ہوتی ہے. اور آپ کو پتہ ہی ہے یہاں کیا ہو رہا ہے، کتنے بڑے پیمانے پہ گرفتاریاں ہو رہی ہیں، کس طرح لوگ غائب کیے جا رہے ہیں، اور عدالتیں کیا کر رہی ہیں. پورا عدالتی نظام جس طرح یعنی بالکل ہی تقریباً بے معنی ہو گیا ہے.
جی
لیکن جہاں تک پبلک کا تعلق ہے، عام آدمی کا تعلق ہے، تو اس کے جذبات ظاہر ہے اس کے ساتھ ہیں، اور وہ اس پہ بہت دکھی ہے. بات یہ ہے کہ جب آپ ذہنی طور پہ سرنڈر کر دیتے ہیں، شکست عملی شکست بعد میں ہوتی ہے. ذہنی طور پہ جب آپ سرنڈر کر دیتے ہیں، یعنی جن کو فیصلے کرنے ہیں، عوام کا تو تعلق اس دن ہوتا ہے، اس وقت ہوتا ہے کسی چیز سے جب انہیں موقع دیا جائے. جن معاشروں میں مسلم عوام کو موقع دیا گیا ہے، مثلا ملائیشیا میں، مثلا ترکی میں، مثلا بوسنیا میں، تو وہاں انہوں نے عوام نے اپنا کردار ادا کیا ہے. جہاں یہ اجازت ہی نہیں ہے آپ کو کہ آپ اپنی مرضی سے کچھ کر سکیں، اور انہیں آرگنائز کرنے والی کوئی قوت ہی نہیں ہے. لے دے کہ عمران خان تھے، اگر وہ ہوتے تو مجھے یقین ہے کہ جیسا جلسہ انہوں نے 30 اکتوبر 2011 کو کیا تھا اور پاکستانی سیاست کا رخ ہی بدل ڈالا تھا، تو ویسا ہی جلسہ وہ کرتے، ضرور وہ بات کرتے. اور اب تو صرف جماعت اسلامی ہے، وہ جتنا ہو سکتا ہے وہ شور مچا رہے ہیں، مظاہرے کر رہے ہیں. کراچی میں تو بڑی ریلی نکالی، اور بھی ہر جگہ پہ احتجاج کر رہے ہیں. یہاں تک سراج الحق نے کہا کہ یہ جو طوفان القدس ہے یہ امریکی سفارت خانے کا رخ بھی کر سکتا ہے. اور میرا خیال ہے ہمیشہ کے لیے بھارت نے بھی بحری بیڑا بھیجا ہے، ہمیشہ کے لیے عالم اسلام کے اور امریکہ کے تعلقات تو یعنی اس رخ پہ چلے گئے کہ اب کبھی ان کے درمیان مصالحت نہیں ہوگی. اور ابھی تو یہ لگ رہا ہے کہ اسرائیلی پریویل کر جائیں گے یا امریکی پریویل کر جائیں گے. اصل میں تو امریکہ ہی ہے، امریکہ نہ ہو تو اسرائیل کچھ بھی نہیں ہے، مگر اور یورپی یونین اور خاص طور پہ برطانیہ اس کے پشت پر نہ کھڑا ہو. لیکن میرا یہ خیال ہے کہ یہ ایک انقلاب کی بنیاد ہے. جب ایک انقلاب کی بنیاد رکھی جا رہی ہوتی ہے تو بہت تکلیف دہ ہوتا ہے، بالکل بچے کی پیدائش کی طرح درد اور اذیت سے گزرنا پڑتا ہے ماں کو. اور کبھی کبھی تو اتنی اذیت کے ساتھ کہ اس کے جی چاہتا ہے کہ اس کی زندگی ختم ہو جائے تو اس سے بہتر ہے. اتنا ہولناک درد اذیت سے گزرنا پڑتا ہے. لیکن میرا خیال یہ ہے، جتنا میں نے تاریخ کو پڑھا ہے، ہسٹری کے مکینکس کو سمجھا ہے، سیاست کے مکینکس کو سمجھا ہے، کہ یہ بس عالم اسلام کے تعلقات ہمیشہ کے لیے کشیدہ ہو گئے. اس لیے کہ الٹیمیٹلی فیصلہ تو جیسے نام چمسکی نے کہا تھا، دو سپر پاورز ہیں، ایک امریکہ ہے اور ایک عوام ہے. جب عوامی قوت بروئے کار آتی ہے تو آپ کو پتا ہے افغانستان میں کیا ہوا، روسی بھی ناکام ہو گئے 13 لاکھ آدمیوں کو مار ڈالنے کے بعد، اور امریکی بھی ناکام ہو گئے اپنی ساری ٹیکنالوجی اور تمام دنیا کی سپورٹ کے باوجود، جس میں پاکستان کی سپورٹ بھی شامل تھی بڑی حد تک. تو یہ ایک نیا دور ہے جس کی بنیاد رکھی جا رہی ہے. اور اللہ کے رسول کی جو لوگ حدیث پہ یقین رکھتے ہیں وہ جانتے ہیں کہ اللہ کے رسول نے اس کی پیش گوئی کی تھی. یہ ٹیررسٹ گروپ جو ہیں اس کی بھی پیش گوئی کی تھی. یہ فرمایا تھا کہ لڑکے بالے ہوں گے، آپس میں لڑ مریں گے. ایک آدمی کا تو نام بھی لیا تھا کہ کنیت اس کی شہر کے نام پہ ہوگی، ابو بکر بغدادی. اور یہ بھی فرمایا تھا کہ 1/3 تو دجال سے جا ملیں گے اور 1/3 اس سے لڑیں گے اور وہ فاسق ہوں گے. اور بظاہر وہ لڑیں گے لیکن دراصل ان کا مقصد جہاد نہیں ہوگا. وہ آپ نے دیکھا ہی ہے جہاد کے نام پہ بعض تحریکیں جو ایسی اٹھی ہیں جو بے گناہوں کو قتل کرتی ہیں اور فرقہ واریت کا پھر 1/3 فرمایا کہ اس سے لڑیں گے اور غالب آئیں گے. تو وہ اس کی نشانیاں ظاہر ہو رہی ہیں. حکمران بے معنی ہو گئے ہیں. سعودی البتہ ایک بڑی کامیابی ہے فلسطینیوں کی, اور وہ معمولی کامیابی نہیں ہے اگر بڑی پکچر دیکھی جائے. وہ یہ ہے کہ فلسطین کا مسئلہ اب غائب نہیں ہو سکتا. جس طرح اس کو نظر انداز کیا جا رہا تھا وہ بہت مکمل طور پہ اجاگر ہو گیا ہے. اور مسلمان حکومت جو دوسرا منصوبہ تھا یہ تو سعودی عرب اور چند باقی عرب ممالک اسے تسلیم کریں گے, پھر پاکستان پہ پریشر آنا تھا, وہ بھی ختم ہو گیا. اس کا کوئی امکان نہیں, اب اسرائیل کو پاکستان تسلیم نہیں کر سکتا. رہ گئی بات ایسی کہ وہ بہت طاقتور ہے اسرائیل, تو یہ ایک نہایت ہی مذکر خیز اور مکانہ مفروضہ ہے. 20-25 لاکھ آدمی تو ایران میں تیار ہیں لڑنے کے لیے اگر انہیں راستہ ملے, اور حزب اللہ بھی ہے, اور اگرچہ سیریا بہت بری حالت میں ہے لیکن کچھ مزاحمت وہ بھی کر سکتا ہے. مجھے اندیشہ یہ ہے کہ جنگ پھیل جائے گی, اور اگر یہ جنگ پھیل گئی تو پھر مسلمان حکمرانوں کے لیے اس کے سوا کوئی چارہ نہیں ہوگا کہ وہ کچھ نہ کچھ سپورٹ مہیا کریں. اور آخری جنگ جو ہے, میری بات آپ کو بہت عجیب لگے گی لیکن میں بہت عرصہ پہلے 20-25 سال پہلے اس نتیجے پہ پہنچ چکا ہوں. جتنی میں نے حدیث پڑھی ہے, تاریخ پڑھی ہے, یہودیوں کی تاریخ پڑھی ہے, عالم اسلام کے مزاج کو جتنا سمجھنے کی کوشش کی ہے, تو آخری جنگ تو ہوگی جس میں پاکستان اور ترکی شریک ہوں گے اور اسرائیل کا وجود مٹ جائے گا.
Thank you very much, Haroon Saab. It's a very detailed analysis. I just wanted to ask you that why Pakistan is banning any protest against these atrocities or conflict about Palestine, whereas it's a Muslim country and supposed to be supporting this cause only because of the humanitarian reasons other than being Islamic. And we also read news from the Chief of Army Staff, General Asad Mahmood, that the Pakistani people are with Palestinian people. Well, probably yes, but what about the Pakistan army? So what do you say? There's a sudden huge shift in the Pakistan's foreign policy about Palestine. What would you say to that?
نہیں, کوئی تبدیلی نہیں ہے. دیکھیے باجوہ صاحب یہ 3 باتیں مان چکے تھے. ایک تو ان کے بس میں نہیں تھا اڈے دینا اس لیے کہ بڑا احتجاج ہوتا, اور ایک انڈین ہیجمنی وہ تسلیم کر چکے تھے, اور اسرائیل کو بھی ان کے خواہش تھی کہ تسلیم کر لے اور چین سے پاکستان دور ہو جائے. عمران خان پہ بہت پریشر رہا 2 سال مگر وہ نہیں مانا. تو مظاہرے نہ ہونے کی وجہ تو میں نے آپ کو بتا دی کہ جو پاپولر لیڈر ہے وہ جیل میں پڑا ہوا ہے اور حکومت کی ساری توانائی اس پہ لگ رہی ہے. لیکن یہ کہ اگرچہ مظاہرے نہیں ہو رہے ہیں اور اس کی وجہ عمران خان کا جیل میں ہونا ہے اور اس کی پارٹی پہ بہت یعنی دباؤ ہے, اتنا شدید دباؤ ہے کہ الفاظ میں بیان نہیں کیا جا سکتا. لیکن پاکستان عوام بالکل ٹھیک اسی طرح اسی شدت کے ساتھ اسی تناسب سے ان کے ساتھ ہے جیسے مثال کے طور پہ ترکی میں ہے, یمن میں ہے, ایران میں ہے. تو وہ تو اپنا باقی جو بڑی پارٹیاں ہیں وہ تو انٹرنیشنل ایجنڈے سے اگری کر چکی ہیں. یعنی اب بھارت کے خلاف کوئی بیان نہیں دیتے نواز شریف صاحب. تو مسلمانوں کا قتل عام ہو رہا ہے, کشمیر میں قتل عام ہو رہا ہے, اور فلسطین پہ 4 دن کے بعد انہوں نے بیان دیا. یہی زرداری صاحب کا حال ہے. تو وہ تو یہ تو آندہ درگاہ مولانا فضل الرحمان نے نصیحت کی تو کس کو کی؟ فلسطینیوں کو کی کہ خواتین کے اور بچوں کے حقوق کا خیال رکھیں. یہ نہیں, انہوں نے یہ میسج دیا کہ آپ سے یہ اندیشہ ہے کہ آپ بچوں پہ اور خواتین پہ اور سولینز پہ ساتھ ظلم کریں گے. اور اس کے بعد آپ کو پتا خبریں گھڑی گئیں اور پھیلائی گئیں 40 بچوں والی بات آپ کو معلوم ہے. تو پاکستان اپنے اندر الجھا ہوا ہے, اور جب آدمی کنفیوژن کا شکار ہو, جب مثال کے طور پہ سوات میں بہت قتل عام ہو رہا تھا, ٹی ٹی پی کے لوگ کر رہے تھے, तो जनरल कैनी साहब से मैंने कहा था, उनसे मेरी मुलाकात हुई कि कोई फैसला न कीजिएगा इस वक्त। तो उन्होंने कहा क्यों? मैंने कहा इसलिए कि जब कंफ्यूजन होता है तो फैसला नहीं किया जाता। कुरान करीम में है कि जब तुम उलझ जाओ ज़हनी तौर पर तो अहले इल्म से और अहले जिक्र से मशवरा करो। अहले इल्म वो है जो किसी मामले को जानते हैं और ओवरऑल ये जानते हैं कि जिंदगी क्या है और इंसान क्या है और कायनात क्या है और इसका परवरदिगार कौन है। और अहले जिक्र वो है जो तज़किया नफ्स के मराहल से गुजर चुके हैं और अल्लाह को हर वक्त याद रखते हैं और जिनका कोई प्रेजुडिस नहीं होता और जिनके बारे में अल्लाह के कुरान करीम में इरशाद है कि मोमिन अल्लाह के नूर से देखता है। मुझे तो वो वक्त बहुत दूर नहीं लगता और मैं ये आपको हौसला देने के लिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ। मैंने बहुत पहले इस पर बहुत सी चीजें लिखी थी और कई दफा लिखा, कई दफा अखबार छाप देते थे, कई दफा कहते थे ये तो अजीब मफरूजा है कि पाकिस्तान जो है अल्टीमेटली इजराइल अपनी सरहदों से बाहर निकलेगा। हदीस में मौजूद है और अहादीस ही असल जरिए है। ये नहीं, वैसे तो कुरान करीम से तो जाहिर है किसी चीज का भी अल्लाह का कलाम है और अल्लाह ही ने पैदा किया इंसानों को और इस कायनात को तख्लीक किया। लेकिन हदीस ही हमें बताती है ना कि कितनी रकतें पढ़नी है नमाज की और कितनी ज़कात देनी है और किस तरह देनी है और क्या सदका करना है और झूठ से किस तरह बचना है और ख़यानत से बचने की अहमियत क्या है। और बहुत समझ तो हदीस ही से आता है। तो हदीस से जो कुछ हमने समझा है रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के इरशादात गिरामी से, तो वो ये है कि इस एक तूफान से हम गुजरेंगे और उसके बाद जो है वो दुनिया पे सच्चाई का गलबा होगा।
Thank you very much, Mr. Haroon Rasheed, for such an enlightening talk and your valuable opinion. We really would like you to come onto our show again and enlighten us with your wisdom-laden words. We have now another guest on our video link, Mr. Asad Mahmood, who is an analyst and a scholar from Pakistan. And let's have him online and to see what he has to say about the current conflict. You must be witnessing what is happening in Palestine, and I'm sure you must be following up really gory details of the human laws in Palestine, and especially the recent bombing of a hospital. I would just want to have your opinion on it.
All right, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much. Certainly, the way situation has come up in Middle East, and especially between Hamas and Israel, it's not something, though very new, but still, this time it is having a very, very big quantum. The way Hamas has come in, the way they attacked, the way they were prepared, the way they carry out all their preparations, and the way they mounted their attack right from the ground, air, even for that matter from the sea. I say it was absolutely unbelievable. But certainly the reaction had to be there from the Israeli side. But this time, this reaction from Israel or Israeli Defense Forces, or I think is extremely unprecedented, I would say. It has never been like this. Though we can say that even in the past, they used to attack, they used to go for the ground assault, they used to have the aerial bombing for weeks and weeks, but not the way now all these things are taking place, especially in Gaza. And imagine it's a very small strip, rectangular in shape, maybe 42 kilometer in length and 10 kilometer in depth. It's just a small area, and it is housing more than 2 million Palestinian people. I say it's like a hell which has been broken by the Israeli Defense Forces, especially their Air Force, and certainly there's no countermeasure which is available with Hamas that how to take care of the Israeli Air Force attacks. But I would simply say the brutalities, the amount of human lives which are involved, the way Palestinians they are being killed, martyred, I say we have never seen in the past, there has not been such kind of example in the past, the way now the things are taking place. But unfortunately, if we see the stance of the, okay, you talk of the Europe, America, or even UK and a few other countries, it seems that it's just normal for them. They consider that fine, the lives of Israelis, that is more precious, that is more important. And in case if there is a Palestine or the Muslim, they say there's no problem. They have no value basically. There is no okay human rights available to the Muslims or the Palestinian, and that is something very alarming. And especially, I would say, the role of the United Nations or even their Security Council, I would say it is very, very pathetic. This organization has totally become redundant, and the countries or the people of the world, they have stopped trusting the United Nations, its efficacy, or is really been able to do something. I hope you can hear me. I'm
Yes, yes,
audible to you.
I can. Yes, thank
All
you.
right, thank you. So, leaving this side, especially what all happened yesterday evening or yesterday night, and that too, attacking a hospital there in Gaza, and hundreds of patients, doctors, paramedical staff, normal civilians, they have simply been wiped out. There can't be that kind of brutality, hostility, the way Israelis, they are actually now going against the Palestine or Hamas, in the Gaza of Hamas. And I say there seems to be no end. I would simply say like this. Why? Because you clearly find the world basically in three portions. One I discussed with you is basically the world which is led by the USA, followed by the EU or UK, and then a few like-minded countries. Then there are a few countries. Fine, they just want to be just the normal, and then another portion of the world, fine, they say something. I'm talking of the Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, but practically you don't find any kind of involvement from any of the country. So it's basically the Hamas, whatever action they have taken it at their own. Fine, they might have some strategy at the back of their mind that fine, they are going to go against Israelis, they are going to counterattack, and when they come basically for the ground attack, then let's see how the Hamas is going to tackle. But I would simply say,
I just want to,
oh,
I apologize for interrupting. We know that Hamas is considered a freedom fighter in Palestine and probably majority of the Islamic world. However, it is considered called as a terrorist organization in majority of the Western world. Now, we know that Hamas and Israel have been at loggerheads. There have been skirmishes, armed skirmishes. Sometimes there were wars. But this kind of action that Hamas took, and especially killing of civilians, children, women, on 7th of October on Israel, it is really unheard of. It is neither Islamic, is never revolutionary, and and we were really wondering really what happened to Hamas that they took such a drastic and frankly speaking quite inhuman action.
yes, I do agree. From that angle, whatever the question basically you have framed, fine. They have gone against the Israeli Defense Forces. They have gone against the Israeli people, and those Israelis who have been the settlers in their area, the land which actually belongs to the Palestine. I would say like this. And the other thing is, no, whatever Hamas has done, there is a very long history behind that. The way Palestine or its people, they are being humiliated, they are being insulted, the way they have been actually caged like a place, we call it that area where now they are bombarding. I'm talking of the Gaza. Fine, and you understand, nowhere from the world there had been okay some voice basically for the Palestinian people, or for that matter, fine, Western world, America, they say Hamas is a terrorist organization. But what would you call the action of the Israelis when they are bombarding the Gaza and the other areas of the Palestine? And mind you, in the past 20 years, there have been more than 130,000 killing of Palestinian by the Israeli Defense Forces. Do you think they were all the military people? No, not at all. They were the innocent civilian. Even from 7 October onwards, whatever action has now been taken by the Israel, imagine there are more than 600 women who have been killed. There are more than 500 children who have been killed, for that matter. And so far, the death toll has almost reached to 4,000 Palestinians. After somebody has to ask the question from the Israeli Defense Forces, Israeli Prime Minister, or even from the world, that is this the way you say that you are going to settle this score? And why don't we listen? Everybody is talking in the world that way, that there has to be two states in that region. Israel has to be a country, and likewise Palestinian two are supposed to have a country, and there has to be two states basically in that region. And the borders between Palestine and Israel, they are supposed to be prior to 1967 borders. Why the world come over to these terms? Why the Palestinians are denied of basically the human rights? Why such kind of brutalities which are being committed by the Israelis? Imagine 20, more than 2 million people or 20 lakh people, they are living in such a small portion, and it has only two openings, one from the Israeli side, the other one basically from the Egyptian side. And whenever they feel like, they just close down the opening. At the moment, you can say there is no light, electricity, there is no water, there is no food. Thank you very much. Here it goes. So what would you call this? No, we say like this. I'll just quote, if you permit me, I'll just quote one example.
Sure.
Now I would say, what was wrong basically in Iraq? Since you are sitting in UK, Tony Blair said, fine, it was a misled story by the intelligence agencies, and we mounted attack. Now, all those people who have been killed in Iraq by the NATO, or for that matter, America and the UK and the allied forces, are those people going to have their lives back? Then whose fault is this? So, were the Iraqis terrorists? So it's not like that. So we have to draw a line how the things can be normalized. But this is not the way the things are being normalized by the Israeli Defense Forces. And mind you one thing, there was a myth in the world. The Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli defense system is the most comprehensive, and it is, I say, it is very difficult that it can be penetrated by somebody. It is invincible defense system. And see then what happened. You find the Israeli people, Israeli forces, especially Israeli defense forces, they are running. Why? Because there was a volley of rockets being fired by the Hamas. This is not a trained army does. Why it is so? Because they were used to carry out the tortures, killing, kidnapping, etc. of the innocent people. There was no problem. They thought there is going to be not any response. But I would say that myth has broken up the Israeli defense system and the Israeli defense forces. And you might have studied in the media also that they had so many countries who were really prepared to buy the Israeli equipment, defense equipment. And now I think let's see what is going to happen. It is really that kind of trustworthy battle equipment which actually being prepared by the Israel, that is to be seen. I would simply say the things are something very, very serious. The most difficult time certainly is faced by Israel, but more than that, it is basically faced now by the Palestinian. And let's see how generally the world is going to act upon, especially the Western countries or the America. They always used to talk of the human rights, certain human right violation anywhere, and they really got up and they're after them. But now let's see what is going to happen here in Middle East and especially in Israel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Asad Mahmood, for your opinion. And I'm sure that you have a lot to say, and we will definitely invite you here in our next show so that we can have further opinions and views from you on this Israel-Palestinian conflict. We have now online with us Dr. Zulfiqar, who's a medical doctor, and he works in the United Kingdom. Dr. Zulfiqar, thank you very much for joining this program and share your opinion on this extremely serious situation in Gaza, where there's a human lives really going daily, and then unfortunately the conflict is escalating even further after this Hamas attack on Israel, and especially killing of innocent Israelis that sparked a wave of reprisal by Israel under the pretext of right to defend. And then we have seen thousands of Palestinians, majority of them are civilians, and pretty much half of them children have died so far. What would be your opinion on this matter?
So, for me, obviously, if you see the discussion around you, everybody's talking about how brutal and how cruel are things going along at the moment on both Israeli as well as Palestinian side. And I think you don't need any more presentation of what is wrong and what shouldn't be done. For me, a bigger worry is I'm looking at the picture, which I think most of the people are missing out, that if you look at the scenario, the way this has been conducted and the signals that the European and from the States are coming, the way things are being controlled, I think this is going in a certain direction. It's not like an ordinary attack the way it has been for the last 70 or 80 years. I think it's pointing to a certain direction. And if I hope that I'm wrong, but I think that direction is that I think this is going to be probably the end of all this situation. That's where the things are being pushed to, and that's what worries me most. It doesn't look like a regular Israeli-Palestinian conflict that we were used to see in the past. It looks slightly different to me, and that worries me the most.
Okay. I want to invite your opinion on the tactics by Hamas, especially to solve this political issue through military and insurgency and activities which are akin to terrorism, where the children and women are of the so to say enemy are targeted. I'm sure they have a explanation, but it doesn't make a justification. Don't you think that Hamas, by killing civilians and children and women, have damaged the cause?
Of course. I mean, there is no second opinion. I've not seen a single opinion so far which condemns or supports what Hamas has done. And that's the point. I think we are stuck somewhere. All the pro-Palestinian programs, they are stuck at, do you not condemn what's happening with Palestine? And all the pro-Israeli programs, they are focused at, do you condemn what Hamas did? Hamas definitely didn't, Hamas, whatever did, definitely cannot be justified. But the problem is, that's what my concern is, this time how things are being conducted, I think they are going in a particular direction, which has been decided beforehand. It doesn't matter what Hamas has done would damage the cause or not, but if somebody is decided in the back of their mind and then they are taking steps in that direction, Hamas can be just an instrument.
Okay, thank you. I think these kind of political issues are much more complicated than simply yes or no, and I will agree with you on that. These are the political issues. There are large number of people on either side of the divide who have very strong opinions, and they believe whatever their opinion to be the axiomatic truth. Military solution to this situation is never an answer, especially if there's an asymmetry in the warfare, because that will not bring peace. We, the people of the world, or any consensuous human being, would like peace, and everywhere, and especially in that area. Do you think that there is an opportunity now that the world attention has come to it and the entire Palestine issue has been internationalized again? Can you see that there is a flicker of hope there?
I mean, I'm sure that's the only way forward. There is a chance, there is definitely a chance, but for that chance to make a difference, all the forces which are in favor of peace, they have to come together. if they are doing effort in their own corners, and if all those efforts are not consolidated into one, I think that's not going to make a major impact. So I'm really hoping that the powers in the world, they come together and they consolidate into one such force which could make a difference and say, okay, we need to stop the war. We care about both sides. We need to stop more killings.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for your valuable opinion. And I think it is very important for people across the world, and especially in that area, that they should take a sigh of relief. And after this catastrophe that is going on, there is a peace talk, and actually the peace returns to that unfortunate area. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much to our guests from Pakistan and, of course, from the United Kingdom, who gave us their valuable opinion. We at Sharp Edge of Quews TV, we do not have to agree or disagree with their opinion, but the main thing is that we believe in peace, happiness, and harmony amongst and between people, nations, countries, and ethnicities. And we believe that there should be a peace talk starting very soon, especially now that the global world powers have come to a conclusion that this matter must be resolved. I know in the back doors people are talking about trying to find a solution once and for all. So with that, I say thank you very much to our guests, and until our next program, we pray that the peace returns to both to Israel and Palestine, and our best wishes to people of that geography. Thank you.